fastest poo of my life. This happens a lot at conventions when you sort of have like a... I imagine that if there were real superheroes, this would happen all the time. Because Brentalfloss, right? It's not a name on a card that I have. So if my name's under Brentalfloss, and anyone's like, well, can you prove it to Brentalfloss? It's like, well, kind of. Anyway, apparently I was under Floss as a last name. So getting my badge took a lot longer than it should have. Anyway, I'm feeling very nice and light on my feet with my lovely washed hand because I'm about to shake a lot of them. So definitely did that. I'm just starting off on the wrong foot every possible way. So welcome, I'm glad you guys are here. This is the Brentalfloss Q&A, Spotlight on Brentalfloss as it's called. And I've been told that there's a little area to go off and do handshakes and pictures, and I've got a little bit of merch with me as well if you guys are into that afterwards, just to hang out for a bit. I don't know where that is, but in years past, I've just basically led a little conga line of people off to like a hallway somewhere, so we'll figure it out one way or the other, I promise. It'll be all good. Is that another panel going on?
Nick Mignogna.
Oh, okay. I don't know who that is. I probably should.
Edward Eldrick, Full Metal Alchemist.
Full Metal Alchemist. There's the first thing I recognized. Okay.
The diva of voices.
Everybody's got kind of the Swiss cheese understanding of nerddom, and that's one of my holes. So we talked about poo. I'm starting to talk about my holes. This is really embarrassing. And I'm in Canada, so we're all embarrassed. That's just how you people are, generally. Yeah, exactly. Sorry.
Don't see you there today.
Yeah. So, speaking of A's, you've got Q's and I've got the A's. So, let's do that. You with the sign. I love how you checked to make sure that it was true. Like, oh, right, that is me.
I was wondering, can you tell us about your experience working with the channel Awesome People?
Sure. My experience working with channel Awesome People. Generally, they're all nice. And like most internet personalities, they are, this includes me, at their most charming in front of a camera. Does that make sense? Like, you'd be surprised how their personalities are slightly all different in real life when they're really, like, just hanging out. And not in bad ways necessarily, but it's just an interesting thing to, like, see them on the internet first and be like, oh, Angry Joe, he must always be angry. No. Or like Doug, you know, doesn't always seem like a, you know, cracked out Daffy Duck. But they're really nice. I'm actually, I don't know if you know all the channels, but like Pa Dugan and Maven and the Eventide are getting married in real life. They were my roommates for a year, and I'm actually the best man. So,
Nice.
so I mean, I'm pretty good friend-wise with them. Yeah, clap for them. For a second I was like, but I'm just the, oh right, they're getting married, right? I haven't even written the speech yet. Yeah, I hope that sort of answered your question. You sir in the cool hat.
On the opposite side of working with people you like, how was, tell us about your experiences almost getting murdered on stage by Meg64.
You know, so if you guys don't know, there was a convention called the Screw Attack Gaming Convention, and I'm sort of an alum / buddy, unpaid partner at Screw Attack, and don't raise your hand yet, this is going to be a while, don't even, yeah, it's okay, I just didn't want you to get tired, because what'll happen is, right when you go, oh, I can't do it anymore, I'll stop, and everyone else will go up, and you'll be like, Dirt!
Later on.
Yeah, later on. And even, yeah, and this goes for everyone. If I don't get to all the questions, again, I will be hanging out after, and if you want to just ask a question, then it's all good, so no pressure. So we were talking about Meg64. I actually think they're very funny guys, but without anyone telling me, Meg64 and Screw Attack were going to do like a versus, like where our website or internet personalities will beat your internet personalities at video games. And I was going to be at SGC, so what they said was the stipulations of them, like winning, if Meg64 won, all these different things would happen, and one of them would be that Brentalfloss would die immediately, be executed on stage.
What?
And so like, I saw the video and everyone's like tweeting like all these 12-year-olds like, hey, did you find out you're gonna die? And I'm like, this is a great way to wake up. I'm like sitting there with my coffee like, yes, this is fucked up. So, So yeah, it was sort of weird. It felt like being the princess, like dangling over the lava, like, so Mario, you gonna do this or what? Like, it was weird. It kind of like opened up my mind to like a bunch of like, oh, the world is sexist. I don't want to be a damsel. Screw this, I'm out of here. Anyway, but in the end, it was kind of flattering to be like, it's a joke if I die, and because enough people must know who I am for it to be a joke. But also kind of weird. Like, this is not exactly a great analogy, but there's a movie called Seed of Chucky, which I think is like part 4 or 5 in the Chucky movies. It's not a great film, but it was right around the time Britney Spears was starting to kind of go nuts. And there was, but she was kind of Justin Bieber of 2004, I guess. And for those of you who are, I guess, are too young to remember, God, you could exist. Isn't that awful? That was like 10 years ago. The point is, there's a part of the movie where like she gets like a Britney Spears lookalike, who's supposed to be Britney Spears, gets run off the road, and her car like goes off a cliff, and you see an explosion, and it's played as a joke. Like, God, wouldn't it be funny if that bitch died? And that was not me saying that. What the movie seemed to be saying. And so suddenly, not that I think like, I'm the Britney Spears of the internet, it's just like, when your death becomes a joke, it's like, how flattering. And also I feel weird. So, you know, I ended up making a joke at the end of the thing, and we never really shook hands or anything, because we were in character the whole time, and they claimed to have like not known I was gonna be there, which is kind of BS, but I really don't care, because what are you gonna do? That's what that was like. Yeah. You, sir.
In your recent shows, when you do the DuckTales with lyric songs, your last chorus kind of trails off into "Come Sail Away." How'd you come up with that? Because that's awesome.
There is a flash loop kind of thing, almost like a "You're the Man Now" dog, but not. Maybe it is a "You're the Man Now" dog. Of like, it says "Come Sail Away," and it's got Scrooge McDuck 8-bit on Launchpad's like rope hanging off of the helicopter, I think. And it's just a loop of him like kind of sailing across the water, but hanging from that. And it basically is a mashup of the DuckTales Moon theme and "Come Sail Away." And it doesn't work all the way through, like the chords kind of clash here and there, but that's why I skipped one part. So yeah, and also, one day I kind of want to do a mega mix, because there are very similar, just to go to a little bit of music theory professor class here, there are very interesting chordal relationships between "Come Sail Away," DuckTales the Moon theme, Final Fantasy, like the classic prologue theme, and I think, what's the other one? There's a lot of them that just have a very similar kind of like ballady. I think it's the Link to the Past ending credits, bum ba ba bum ba ba bum ba ding 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 ding, all kind of follow the same like boom doom 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 doom. I think also I Dreamed a Dream from Les Mis. There's like a bunch of songs that do this walk down just so. I think like Largo by one of those composers. Anyway, great story, Grandpa. The point is, lots of songs do that, and I love mashing up things like that when I find out that songs have musical relationships. You, ma'am.
I know in Ego Raptor's MagFest 2011 panel, he mentioned that you guys might do a collab. Is there any word on that?
Here's the word. I think he's a genius. He knows who I am. And that's all I can say. What?
He's on my shirt.
Oh, awesome. I don't know how to react to that. Congratulations.
I did something with my life.
Way to go. We're all extremely proud of you. So Aaron is a genius, and I love his sequelitis Mega Man X video. Like, alone made me go, this guy is brilliant. But we emailed back and forth, and I'm not. It's not that I'm hard to work with, it's just that like I'm not a natural collaborator. So unless I deeply, deeply respect someone's ability to do exactly what their job is in a collaboration, I tend to be kind of bossy pants. And the problem is he's completely, like A, more important and bigger on the internet than me, but B, a similar control freak in his own right. So we kind of like jokingly agreed like, yeah, we don't have any great concept in mind. I don't think it'd be right for me to ask him to just animate some video of mine as if he's, you know, the guy in Korea, like, you know, Family Guy, you know what I mean? Like, he's not gonna just do the busy work for me. Not that all animation is busy work, but he's, you know what I mean? He's established a name beyond just animating for somebody else. So we kind of came to this stalemate of like, well, hey man, if I'm ever in LA, I'd love to hang out. Absolutely. So I have very warm feelings towards the guy, but we just didn't find a project we both wanted to do enough to kind of contribute equally. You man with the white hair. I thought you were a power girl, but you seem to be even cooler than that. You forgot your question, I'm sorry.
Can you make Glover with lyrics?
Make what with lyrics?
Glover.
Is an N64 game.
Glover.
Glover.
A game where you play as a glove. And you have to get these.
She's not lying.
Crystal.
You're pitching it even better than Nintendo Directs. And that's no slight against you. I probably could. I tend to, in all honesty, mostly do with lyrics for video games that either I love so much that I don't care if they're obscure, or everyone knows them. Glover, I'm just now, was it starring Danny Glover? I'm trying to figure out how I would mentally connect to it. It could happen one day, and I am in fact trying really hard to release an EP of brand new with lyric songs by Christmas. So you never know. And some possible songs on that include Earthbound and maybe some Street Fighter, possibly Street Pass with lyrics.
Oh, nice.
Right as I finished my draft of Street Pass with lyrics, they added in all these new games, and I'm like, do I do a verse about that? What do I do? Authenticity with this weird thing that I do in the first place. Anyway, that's the end of that question. Thank you for the question. You, sir, you look familiar.
With that said about
Damn it, Vic.
Happy birthday, apparently. And while we're at it, quick pause. My friend Lori back there, actually, it is her birthday today, so real quick applause. Sorry to interrupt, I just was reminded by that. All right, totally you have the floor.
would you ever do a collaboration with JonTron?
Sure. I mean, so this brings up a question, or this brings up an issue that I don't really always know how to talk about, because not everyone, so many people seem to think that like their viewpoint of the internet is very much like more or less what everybody who's watching this genre is watching. So like this is why like whenever you go, well, what do you mean you haven't seen this amazing video I've seen? But like if this video only has like 300,000 views, that means that only a tiny drop of like the world population has seen it, right? So JonTron, I think he's an awesome dude, extremely talented, extremely popular. And I'm in a tier that's like, I think, when you look at someone like JonTron, there's like a broader, more casual base, and I've got like a narrower, cultier base. And so like, numerically, I'm nowhere near as important, so I never even know how to contact these people. And I'm pretty sure he's West Coast, right?
He's in New York.
Really?
He moved like last week. Yeah, he left the
So this is gonna happen. Now the thing is, there is a definite like West Coast YouTuber thing, like Black Nerds out there, Ego Raptors out there, Nathan Barnett's out there, and all these people that like kind of I think Dodger and all these people that kind of do stuff together. This is a West Coast thing, whereas New York seems to have a more disjointed community. Anyway, it was a very simple question. I'm bringing it way out to the, like elaborating too much on it, but what I was trying to get at is that like I feel like I'm just under a tier where like people start to get into like the epic rap battles and epic meal time and like Ego Raptor, JonTron, Team 4-Star, you know, like all of these, you know, famous people. Whereas I feel like I'm just a little bit more on the culty side. So I rarely approach people like that because I don't want them to feel, I'll put it this way. When someone who's got like 1/5 or 1/6 of my subscriber number will approach me like, hey, you want to collaborate? Unless I'm specifically a fan of theirs, the answer is never yes, because it kind of only benefits them. It's like me dumping a lot of potential subscribers on them, but are they gonna, wow, I got 10 more, you know, like, so, not that that's nothing, I'm just saying. So I never want to be that to someone way more important, numerically speaking, than me, so I tend to shy away. But man, if JonTron's in New York, I'm just saying. All right, good question, man, thank you. You, sir, blonde hair. Like mine used to be.
Can you please do your impression of Russell Crowe from the Les Mis review?
You know, last night my voice was subjected to yelling in a bar, drinking, potentially other throat-damaging activities. So I think I'm perfectly primed for this. How about this? I will lead a song The name that you need to know for this song is Lori, as Russell Crowe. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Lori. Happy birthday to you. Russell Crowe impression. He's not quite that bad, but I come from a musical theater background, so it kills me that he doesn't have, like, I would take Hugh Jackman and it's like, "Mah," like, I would take that any day over like, I'm really upset right now and I will sing about it. Anyway, it just kills me. You, sir.
2 questions.
All right.
One, if you ever do a music review for the next Nostalgic musical review, will you ever have a big role?
Well, you mean like in Moulin Rouge, where I was in it for 75% of the video?
When the last one was miserable or something like that, you didn't have much of a role and you didn't have your chance. So I thought
I'm gonna let you in on the nitty-gritty of how this stuff works, because I wish that we all of us internet celebrity types lived in a building that had a huge studio that we all just traded off like hippies. This big commune of like, want to collaborate? Sure, we do. But what really happened, and the thing is, I actually regret now, to your point, I regret not being visually in more of the video.
I thought you deserved more, like have a big role or something.
Well, here's the thing. I had a huge role in the video, mostly behind the scenes. Every song, and there were 9, we cut one, but there were 9 songs, was either lyrics written completely by, or lyrics mostly written by me, plus writing the music, plus arranging the orchestrations. Like probably 60 or 70 hours of time went into all that. The sad part is nobody really cares about that in a video where the songs are all kind of parody, but yeah, so like I had an enormous role in it, but really all you see is 5 minutes of me in a Captain Crunch hat, and then the credits it goes, songs by Brent Black. And that's fine, but just know that like, I'm agreeing with you, but also filling you in. I'm filling you in that I really did put lots of work into it. But also, what I was saying about like the brass tacks of how it works is, at Con Bravo, which was in Hamilton, Ontario just last month, you know, a lot of people, you know, that guy with the glasses, Channel Awesome people were there, and I was there as well. But I had like 7 appearances over the course of 3 days. So finding a window of time in which we could shoot that stuff was really hard. And we actually shot the scenes where I'm talking to Paul, Kyle, and Doug. Most of those shots, I was just talking in the direction of where they were sitting before. And when they're talking to me, they're generally talking to where I'm going to be standing later. And it's edited together. I totally agree with you. And if we do another one of those, I'd like to appear physically in the video more. Not to be pessimistic, but I'm not sure there's ever going to be a character in that milieu as fun for me to play and for the audience to watch as Brentalfloss Zittler. Because there was something about that that was just really fun. So we'll see.
Your song's awesome.
Thank you.
Second one. What's your opinion on the DuckTales remastered version, and will you ever like to remaster one of your music, one of your own music with their music?
Ask me that last part one more time. Is that actually 3 questions and you're trying to make the last 2 into a marble cake? Like, here, you keep thinking while I answer the first one. So DuckTales Remastered, I love the game DuckTales, I love the music. I feel like, honestly, and this is no slight to Way Forward because I was almost involved in the game. I wrote a song, Just One Duck was originally intended to be the ending credits and it didn't work out. I don't think it's really worth it to remaster a side-scroller. It's kind of like, if you remaster Citizen Kane, is it good now or just... It's like, it's the summer movie version of Citizen Kane! Explosions! Like, you know what I mean? Like, so I think that it was the best they could have done with the notion of remastering it, and I really liked the fact that it was at times like watching an episode of DuckTales. It was strangely sad though that Alan Young and June Foray, especially June Foray as Magica Dispel, is 95 and can't even pull off an evil laugh. Like, you can tell they like spliced together 3 or 4 attempts at her to just get a laugh-like noise out. By the way, trivia. June Foray, who played Rocky the Squirrel, and Natasha, as in Boris and Natasha, on Rocky and Bullwinkle, was also the voice of Magic and Dispel, and was featured in DuckTales Remastered, but she's 95. So the fact that she can make noises without pooping her pants is great. Way to go. But anyway, so you were talking about would I ever remaster my own stuff?
No, like, you have so many DuckTales songs. Would you like to remaster one of them with the remastered version?
You're saying would I like to maybe do like Crazy Duck in Space over the new version of the DuckTales Moon theme?
Well, it depends what you think. Would you like
I would say, honestly, I don't know that I'd be incentivized, just to be a little businessy on you, I don't know if I'd be incentivized to do that, and video game music from the 80s, you tend to not run into copyright issues, but video game music after the 2000s, especially if there's any recorded instrumental nature to it, for instance, the Civilization song, it gets really hairy copyright-wise, if it's not just bleeps and bloops. So probably not, but I have considered doing Transylvania for Flosstober, only because the melody is so clear. Transylvania, like it's written in there, you know? Anyway, but I'll probably do Luigi's Mansion. You have one more question? Oh, no problem. Thanks for having all those questions and remembering them somehow. Front row.
I've got two as well.
All right. Hey, just not to be a jerk, I'm gonna say let's start doing one at a time, only because if everyone decides to do long, you know what I mean? I talk a lot, so pick your favorite one, and if we get back around, or if you stick around later, sorry that like I totally spoiled this guy, and now I'm like, but not you, but that's how it's gonna be, sorry.
All right. Last night at the concert, you received something from a fan. I'm not going to spoil it for anyone else. Did you bring it?
Oh my God!
Show and tell.
Can I just get a quick hand count of who was there last night? Okay, so about half, maybe a third. I'm just trying to figure out how many will be surprised. I had to really. Wait a minute.
There's this guy named Darren, and he has a company called Darionettes. And this thing is gonna haunt my dreams forever. Yes.
Use it for Flosstober.
I might. The thing is, I've already done the Make a Me song. So, I mean, like, I've kind of...
Street Pass.
I think if I leave him here, he's gonna just upstage me the entire rest of the thing. So you're going back down too. Anyway.
You can use them for the Street Pass video.
I also got a Power Glove oven mitt, and that was amazing. You in the red shirt.
Hi, this is a question about the comic.
Mm-hmm.
The 163rd comic had the punchline there were no survivors, and you prevented from releasing it because it was at the same week as the Boston bombings. Will we ever get to see that comic?
No. The reason being, it was extremely topical. Remember the MTV Movie Awards from this year? You do? Yeah, no, you don't, because nobody does. So that's the thing, like, it was specifically for that week, specifically for anyone who had the bad fortune to watch the MTV Movie Awards, and we were like, we knew at the time, I knew at the time, that I was probably going to wrap up the comic in a few months. So it was an issue of like, if we're probably not going to make it till the next MTV Movie Awards, then we're probably not going to end up showing anyone. Because if something's just really like not funny, then like it just, you know what I mean? Like showing it as deleted material, there is value to that, but it's not like, it's like, oh, that is funny. It's more like if somebody explains a joke to you, it's, you know what I mean? Like it doesn't make it funny, but that's the answer. It was about the MTV Movie Awards being so bad that there were no survivors. That's it. It wasn't even very funny. It's just that Dan is upset about being in his 30s and not knowing who any of these kids on the MTV Movie Awards are anymore. Anyway, there's your answer. You in the orange. Yeah. Or actually, it's not orange, it's red. Yeah.
Last night at the concert, you spanked me. I took a picture.
At your request, by the way, let's be clear.
Like your face I'm so worried, and my mom's calling bullshit. Could we redo?
So what you're saying is, because it's really important to convince your mother that I spanked you, in the middle of the panel that I'm doing, I should spank you again, so that your mother believes you.
Yeah, right.
All right. But this is not going to be like, if every question after this is, will you spank me? Will you punch me? Will you bite my shoulder? No. This is the one. God. It's always the dudes.
Just get in whatever position you can.
The position.
Just kick him in the ass.
Really sneak him. There we go.
There you go.
I didn't get a great cup on there, but it's okay. It's okay. Where's my hand sanitizer? You, sir. I almost said with the green bracelet. That would have been pretty stupid.
Do you sometimes sing your own songs to keep you entertained?
I'm so embarrassed about this question. Yes, but honestly, I do it very little once they're out. Like sometimes I go at the gym, if I don't have any good podcasts, I'll just like listen to an album that I did. Sometimes it's like shows that I wrote in college, just because it's kind of interesting to see how a show sounds the farther you get away from it. Something you created, how it seems to you the farther away you get from it. Because the farther away you get from it being the creator and being the producer, the more you kind of get to enjoy it as an actual viewer or listener in a way that feels almost like you're not the person who made it. But I do, on the other hand, sing a lot of the songs I'm currently writing. Like, I work at home, and I don't think anybody is, like around in adjacent apartments during the day. So yeah, like I'm basically like 10 hours a day by myself in my apartment unless I leave. So yeah, I'm working on this street pass with lyrics, and it's like dum da dum da 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 farts, whatever it is, like you just never, and in singing sometimes you come up with a funnier punchline, definitely funnier than just putting farts at the end of nonverbal scatting. But anyway. Yeah, so like, basically, the short answer is mostly before the song is released, but occasionally I'm that kind of douchebag, yes. You, sir, glasses.
Me?
Yes.
Oh, fantastic.
You're somewhat androgynous, and I'm so glad you're a guy. Not because it's...
I've done that before, too.
Well, like, it's like, I've gotten used to, living in New York, it's like if someone's genderqueer, I'm fine with it, but I still am afraid of getting the gender wrong, because it's so insulting for some reason on both sides, so I knew it, I could feel your masculinity from here.
Very deep voice.
Awesome. Go, now that I've made it awkward.
I mean, you probably already explained this in a video, but regarding Brentalfloss the comic, what happened with that?
Well, we did like a 10-minute video explaining it, and so I'm gonna summarize the Cliff's Notes. Sometimes you find yourself making the same joke over and over again. You realize everyone sort of doesn't have their heart in it anymore. It isn't making you all that much money, so there's no redeeming monetary thing. It isn't fulfilling you artistically, so there's no, you know what I mean? Like, no one element of it redeemed it enough that we had to keep doing it. And...
in so many ways you can say the Wii U sucks.
Right. And the thing is, I don't actually think the Wii U sucks. I think Nintendo just released a half-baked console because they had a Christmas to themselves instead of waiting until the console was ready and they had a more robust library. And, part of it is just the fact that when I was a kid, Nintendo Power was kind of like the 1984 country, like telling people how things are. Like, it's like, yes, Nintendo Power, yes, we're really, even though they would give games bad reviews, it all seemed like they weren't going to give an awful review to a game they were really trying to push, you know what I mean? It was still Nintendo Power from inside the bowels of Nintendo. So there wasn't this fast information and all this critical, there wasn't this kind of like naysaying culture. Anyway, I'm not answering your question. Your question, basically just, when you realize that you're tired of it, but also your collaborator's kind of tired of it, and collaborating is hard because you have very different styles and you'd rather just be friends, it's pretty easy to go, well, we've done 200, let's release a book, maybe every now and then we'll have an idea for a comic. Actually, I had one last night. I was hanging out with some friends of mine as we were like all winding down, kind of tired at the hotel. And what was the joke?
I was listening. I wasn't listening. Sorry.
You jerks. No, there was a thing. Oh God. Sometimes you do things that make you forget. No, the thing that I wrote down as a funny.
You can't force. I want to force.
Right, Brokeback Mountain. I wish I knew how to force quit you. So anyway, like I kind of went, that would be a great commercial. So that is, you know, like one day I might do like 1 month, just like a supplemental, like we're doing it again for 1 month, but our hearts weren't in it. It wasn't really making us any money. Like we were still more or less losing money every month on it. And at some point you just, you know, we had a good time, but it's over. You, sir, on the aisle.
Have you ever thought of doing a cover of the Trowel Scene from Pink Floyd's The Wall?
I haven't, even though it sort of has resemblances to the trial scene in Chrono Trigger. I don't know if you noticed, but there are a couple key points there. No, but I haven't thought of doing that. I'll tell you why. I have this weird little window of stuff that gets me views. And this is part of the reason I'm slowly branching off into a secret new channel that's already existing, but most of you don't know about it, because it's called The BB Spin. And it's going to be a channel where eventually I'll be doing all this stuff that's not video game content. Because I find that right now, whenever I do non-video game content, the numbers just don't lie. They're just, you know, if it doesn't have the word with lyrics in it or the name of a video game in the video title, the views are like 1/4, 1/5, 1/10 of what the big video game related, you know, videos that I do are. And at some point, if it is a living, which this is my full-time job, like, you know what I mean? Like, I've got to make the big swath of fans happy. But also, I don't want to just do with lyrics forever. With lyrics is super fun, but I also like want to do musical theater stuff and comedy, satire. I've got ideas to make fun of some reality shows, like for instance, Soup Kitchen Nightmares. I want to do that as a sketch, and also Funeral Zillas. Just because, like, I have all these ideas that have nothing to do with video game content, but instead of diluting the brand, I need a new thing. So anyway, to answer your question, doing a cover of that might happen one day, probably no time soon, but if I did that, it would be on the new channel, which there's almost nothing there, but feel free to be one of the first 100 subscribers. It's the BB, as in the letters, Spin, and it's on YouTube. You, sir.
Who inspires you?
Who inspires me? Mother Teresa. Okay, let me see. Ben Folds, Elton John, Eddie Izzard, Jerry Seinfeld, Stephen Sondheim, Andrew Lloyd Webber, yes I know, but still, I listened to a lot of that growing up. The Ninja Turtles.
Russell Crowe?
Nope. Did I say Billy Joel? Ben Folds. Definitely, Bill Maher, even though I never agree with him, I feel like I've got a little bit of that kind of salty, snotty kind of thing. When I watch him, I'm like, oh man, I kind of say stuff like that sometimes too. I'm such a douche. Kind of like Bill Maher. Yeah, that's a pretty good, also, I don't know, James Portnoy, he recently gave a speech at Con Bravo that, if you can find a YouTube video of it, was one of the most, it's very easy for me to get cynical about video games, video game culture, when I'm kind of like this sort of pundit of video gameness, and I never intended to be that. So at some point I get very cynical about, you know, like, video games, when is it gonna end? All these people, all these fans, I can never be as enthusiastic as them, I can never be as obsessed, such a poser. And then James Portnoy comes along and gives a speech about why video games matter and why they're a form. Anyway, if you can find the speech, just find it, because it was like, I felt like, I went from feeling like, I really just want to get ready for my show, why am I at this opening ceremonies, to going, wow, let's all just move to a commune and be happy and nice to each other. Like, it was great. It was a great speech. It was extremely inspirational. James Portnoy, Con Bravo. Who have I not? You with the holding up the thing. Yeah.
Other than spanking men, do you have any hidden talents?
As somewhat of an egotist, I have very few talents that remain hidden. So if you leave out like, you know, super secret like closed door bedroom talents, and there are many. Oh, I love that you have a pipe in your mouth now. I feel like I need slippers and a robe to be like, well, let me tell you, old sport. I love longboating, like whatever that is. No, I play the drums, which is rarely seen in my videos. I did that, I think I drummed in a video one time in like 2009. I do play the drums, and also I can clap with one hand. But only if I make that stupid face. Do any of you guys remember the Create-A-Card machine? So like 2 of you. I can do an impression of the Create-A-Card printer. So back in the day, before smartphones and iPods and Google glasses, there was a machine that you would find in drugstores called Create-A-Card. And it had a very primitive touchscreen, probably 240p or something like that, a CRT monitor, and you would touchscreen to build a little card that it would print. And its printer was very sophisticated because it would like, you know, move really fast, and it looked like it just had little servo hands with markers, which is completely unnecessary, but it gave it a very like drawn look. So in 1992, you know, I'm 8 years old and this is like the future. But the printer of a Create-A-Card machine had this weird jerky sound, and I got really good at doing an impression of it by doing this weird suction thing with my mouth. Let me see if I can, I'm embarrassed to do it facing you, so I'm gonna turn around. And we'll see if this isn't the most uninteresting hidden talent of all time. It's like this weird thing I can do. Like my dad can do Donald Duck, and I can go. It's weird. I feel like if I were a Mega Man boss, that would be my power. Create-A-Card, man.
Test.
Oh no, test. There we go. So, yeah, not a great hidden talent, because most of my talents, like, I'm like, hey, look what I can do. So, anywho, you in the back.
Hi, I was going to ask if there were any people that you'd like to collaborate with, and are excited to do so.
So like, there's certain people, as I was telling this gentleman on row 3 earlier, that I would love to collaborate with, but because I'm a smaller fish, I tend not to approach them. Especially if they have a very specific brand, and so do I. Sometimes it's like, if people can tell that you only did a crossover just to do a crossover, then unless it's a certain kind of them just cameoing or something, it can be really hairy, and you can end up going, why are we even doing this, you know? That said, I've never collaborated with James, the Angry Video Game Nerd. That'd be fun one day. Ego Raptors, genius. JonTron, I would totally go there. You got your team 4-star, they're cool dudes. But again, like, all these people I respect, but what's the concept? I don't know. And like, I'm really, as much as so many of my lyrics are dick and fart jokes, I'm extremely picky about anyone else's lyrics. So if I'm like, let's collaborate, oh, that's awful, what you wrote is just awful. You know, like, it's a weird thing, because if you don't know them well enough, then they're way more important than you. Anyway, that said, I am collaborating again with Dave Ballmer, aka Demon Tomato Dave. We did the Super Mario Land with lyrics, and we're also doing a very important Zelda title for our next kind of debate with lyrics video. And it should be awesome. Beyond that, people that I actually respected, like outside the internet, like Ben Folds, I'd love to collaborate with. Eddie Izzard, it'll never happen, but you know, like in my dreams. All right, so again, a few of you joined us partway through, so just to remind you, we've got 22 minutes left, but at the end, I'm going to go to a place. I think my contact at the content, there was a specific place to go. If not, we'll just figure it out. But if you want to hang out for a bit, pictures, handshakes, butt slaps. You got CDs and posters as well. Anyway, Q's, I've got A's. Q. Q. Sorry.
You were doing collaboration with someone from theater.
can't remember. It was on. What's the big thing in New York? The theater.
Broadway?
Broadway. Thank you. Sorry. There was a girl, and she was playing Samus for a Metroid with lyrics, and it was very moving. But I don't think we've heard anything about it.
You haven't.
Yeah.
Because when one extremely talented animator insists that he is the one animator for a fully rendered 5-minute CGI space opera, and he's doing it in his spare time, for free, at some point you go, well, I guess I'll give him 2 years. At this point, even though we recorded the vocals for this in January of 2012, it's looking like it will drop, knock on some wood and cross your fingers, Valentine's Day 2014. Metroid Fight for Love is the official name of it. And it's kind of just like a more serious take on it with lyrics. Kind of like, I'm not singing it, it's for someone else to sing, it's serious. It's kind of like, I don't want to punish the Proto-Men by looping myself in with them, but like more along the lines of what the Proto-Men and the Megas do.
Well, I heard the sample that you put on Wichow in that interview, and I mean, it brought tears to my eyes. It was amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Thank you. I want to eventually get away from the idea that, okay, so I want to eventually split up Brentalfloss and Brent Black, because Brent Black actually likes writing songs that sometimes aren't just jokey and, oh, this is really funny, watch this, versus like something that actually is kind of emotionally weighty and sticks with you. The problem is, if I go and do something that's emotionally weighty, it makes people uncomfortable. It makes me uncomfortable. I did a really sappy song for the end of the comic, and like a day after I released it, I went back and watched it and went, oh, why am I being so sappy about it? But the reason is the character of Brentalfloss doesn't seem like he can do that. But anyway, that's not what you asked. But the thing is, yeah, I'm hoping to eventually do more stuff like that. But I mean, just to give you an example, like this guy sent me a picture the other day of like one of the Zoomers, which is one of like the Metroid bad guys, and it's like extremely detailed. Like we're talking, maybe not Pixar, but like definitely Sharknado grade. Which I joke, but honestly, when you're on my level of whatever I'm doing, and you have somebody like creating CGI models for all this stuff, just for one video, it's kind of humbling, and it's kind of like, the problem is he has a paying day job in animation. I can't pay him to do it faster because there's no point. And he's doing it out of his love for the concept. Like once he heard the song, he was like, "I'm in. Let's do this." But yeah, it's just taking so long because he doesn't really want to collaborate with anyone. And if there's anything I can respect, it's that. So yeah, that's why. Hopefully, you have Valentine's Day next year. Is that a question, or are you just really excited? Oh, actually, I was talking to this gentleman. You were stretching this way. This guy was like, fight the man. Yeah. Or possibly like, my people need me. Go ahead.
Will you be bringing back like the rambles and such to your second channel, or will that be something different?
Are you talking about my drunken rambles, which I haven't done since, I think, 2008?
Yeah, stuff like that. That was fun.
To answer your question, I don't think I'll be doing drunken rambles, because even though I still do sometimes say things that are off color or do things that are slightly like bad example things, the drunken rambles, if I do anything like that, it's going to end up on my BB Spin channel, because I really want, by maybe 6 months from now, for Brentalfloss to be synonymous with video game content and not Brentalfloss, he also plays the piano. No, actually he doesn't. Brent Black plays the piano. Brentalfloss does songs like Weird Al to video game tunes. Just because at some point, I don't know that I want the name Brentalfloss to be on my gravestone. Kind of like today, like a great example of it is today, I had to wait for like 25 minutes at the badge area because they were like, so you're Brentalfloss. Who are you with? I'm like, I'm with me. And they're like, so is that your real name? No, it's not my real name. Well, are you, like it's kind of like, anyway, that's not what you asked. Yeah, I will be doing more vlog style stuff. And I kind of hope eventually to have new, like mini franchises and like side series that explore certain things, but without the obligation to make it all about video games, and it'll be on a different channel, so if people only want the video game stuff, they don't have to watch. So yeah. You I already got, right? I'm sorry, I'm gonna prioritize for other people, but if you want to stick around, yeah. Stripes, hit me.
What what was your favorite with lyrics song?
My favorite with lyrics song. It changes every day. I really like Castlevania 2 right now. I think Mega Man 3 with lyrics, like the original, was just, you know, it was good, but part of it is the luck of the melody. For instance, Mega Man 3 and Cave Story both have melodies that really allow for internal rhyme. 8 robot bosses in 8 levels, disheveled and reveled in devilry, all still their weaponry. Not every melody lets you do that. You know, like Cave Story had all these internal rhymes and systems of rhyme kind of interweaving in each other, so if you nailed it, it sounded really cool. So, a lot of times, you know, like, that's why I think a lyric is better than another lyric. But like MacGyver with lyrics, this forgotten gem, or maybe not gem, maybe forgotten turd, from 2009 has some of the tightest lyrics, like, if you're trapped, have no doubt, if you're trapped, have no doubt, give MacGyver a shout, if there's any way out, he'll know, watch as he saves your life with a Swiss Army knife, this is the MacGyver show. Like, little, you know, internal systems of rhyme that are really hard to kind of crossword puzzle together, but that didn't make MacGyver with lyrics a classic. That just made it a tightly written lyric. So, anyway, again, not what you asked, but I guess I'll say Castlevania 2 today, but it changes all the time. You with the camera.
Would you like a Pop-Tart?
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks, man.
No problem.
Oh, wait, I took 2. No. Thanks, man. So, do these have ricin in them? Or some kind of anthrax? Like, you are wearing a trench coat, which makes you slightly...
I sell watches, not drugs.
Okay. Fair enough. Thank you for the popcorn. Thank you. Fin hat. Jake? What did I say? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm tired. Adventure time. Come on, grab your friends. Go.
If you could do any song with lyrics without having to worry about legal crap, which one would you do? Like, for a new one?
Probably the new Star Trek theme from the new Star Trek movies. Which all of you are going, I secretly hate that movie, but okay, I'll just take that. Oh gosh, man, there's so many great tunes. The Harry Potter theme is a really great one. I mean, John Williams, people give him a lot of crap, but like, the guy knows how to make a song that gets stuck in your nog, you know? And beyond that, frankly, there's not a whole lot of movies these days that have the kind of scores that stick with you, like Indiana Jones, Jaws, Star Wars, I just said Indiana Jones. The other Indiana Jones. John Williams scores also, you know, I guess, you know, I was thinking that montage from Up. You know what I mean? I love that. I listen to that MP3 over and over and over again. Because I eventually want to write the score for something before I'm dead. Unfortunately, the only things I get offers for are like, hey, will you do a score for my iOS app? No one knows who I am. Even I don't know who I am. And it's like, yikes. But that'd be fun. I think I would probably ruin it. But yeah, stuff like that. With the baseball cap and the thing on your arm, yeah.
I know a long time ago you had these kind of like hidden songs that you wrote for Banjo-Kazooie. I remember way back. Is there anything else like that that you've done that you maybe never like mentioned? Or planning on doing?
I do have some things from my past that never panned out that I could share. But the thing is, I recycle a lot of stuff. Mike Myers is a good example of someone who does this. If you watch, one day I'm going to make a video about this, or rather I could, but maybe it would be hypocritical. If you look at Mike Myers' work on SNL, all the sketches that didn't take off of his, he does all these bits that if you go and watch all the Austin Powers movies, and So I Married an Axe Murderer, and Wayne's World, he uses the same jokes and same joke formulas over and over and over again. And when you write music, if you write a song and nobody really gives a crap, then you can take that tune and use it again, give it another life, right? Repurpose it until it sticks. So sometimes I'm afraid to show people too much stuff that didn't work because maybe one day it could work with a different lyric or a different coat of paint. So the answer is yes, and what I can tell you is when I was 7 years old, I wrote a book called The Ultimate Super Mario World Adventure. And it's probably 14 pages long, fully illustrated, and it's a story about like the Mario and Luigi from the first Mario game, time traveling and meeting the Mario world, and the Super Mario World Mario and Luigi, and all these Yoshis collaborating with them to finally save the day. And I have scanned it all in high-res images, and I think maybe for the 12 Days of Brentness, I might do it as like a bedtime story. So, yeah. But as far as songs, I recycle so much that I'm a little skittish about just going, hey, here's this thing that you'll accuse me of stealing from myself in 5 years when I use it again. Teal shirt.
Will you bring back the literal shorts?
Well, I bring back literally shorts. I have a couple literally shorts ideas. Right now I'm really I'm doing a convention almost every week. So cranking out smaller videos like that should be easier, but it's not. A couple literally shorts ideas I have are drag queen, which I'd like to animate, and it would just, you're like, and eventually you'd see like this dude just dragging the Queen of England. And that's the whole thing. A friend of mine suggested stool softener, where I'm playing the piano and you can tell my butt really hurts and no, I'm sorry, I've ruined the punchline. Or I look like I'm really having a hard time and and then I'm I think the idea is my girlfriend puts a cushion onto a stool that I'm sitting on, and then I can play the piano and I'm feeling better. Yeah, it's not so great now that I say it out loud, but anyway, those are some possible literally shorts ideas for the future. But again, the literally shorts series might be moving to the BB spin. Basically, my audience has bifurcated itself into this Venn diagram of people that really only want the with lyrics or video game content, people that really specifically want original stuff that's not about that at all, and then a butt crack in the middle of people that are yeah, whatever you do, just it's cool. So this new channel will allow people that like the literally shorts. I'll feel more encouraged to do stuff like that because I'm not going to worry that somebody's just get back to the with lyrics. There's so many 12-year-olds that go, just do what you're good at, Floss, okay? And it's thanks, boss. So I'm trying to kind of, even that out a bit. But thanks for the question. You start in the back. Yeah.
Okay. First of all, sorry about the big, I'm just a big fan of Bioshock Sonic.
Thank you.
Zelda. That's a lot of fun. And I was watching this other video the other day, and you were playing his review with the soundtrack and the whole cast.
Mm-hmm.
What's it like to work with those people?
Well, so this was sort of a bookend because I answered this question before. That's okay. You had important things to do. So it's fun, but it is work. When we're shooting videos, yeah, we have bloopers, we laugh, but that was at Con Bravo when we were all in between other events, so there was a sense of let's go, let's go, let's go. My best memory of shooting Les Mis was the fact that only me and Doug could fit in the bathroom when I was doing the song that was called Floss's Brentalfloss, which is supposed to be making fun of Javert's suicide from Les Mis. And Doug and I were just in there trying not to laugh, and I had lots of coffee and caffeine and junk food. So basically, I don't know if you can really tell because Russell Crowe kind of has a not trying to fart face all the time anyway. But Doug and I were I'm trying not to laugh, but also when you can only hold in one thing at a time. So I don't know. I think I failed at some points in there, and it was just me and him in that bathroom, but we laughed so hard, because I had to it's not real slow-mo, you probably know that, but my slow-mo fall, there was no slow-mo added. It was just me going for 15 whole seconds, and then landing, and we would just sit there and laugh. I hope the bloopers show this, but also me dead in the tub. There's probably no take of that where I'm not quiet, So, anyway, that is some insight into how it was working with them. But they're all really nice people, and while they're all weird, so am I. So, it's good company. You start with the Fez.
What would you do if you were the top
ask why. If I was the most subscribed person on YouTube, that would mean, based on what people are making on YouTube and the tippy percent, that I probably would just make 5 videos with headlines like naked titties and get all my money and then like move off to Rio, or you know what I mean? Like take that millions of dollars that you'd have to be making if you're the #1 subscribed channel, and then do all the stuff I've really been wanting to do for a while, like write a Broadway show and, you know, star in porn. So my life's work. No, but like, it's a tough question because it's so hypothetical. I think that it would freak me out if I was the top subscribed person on YouTube, because I think what I do is, especially as Brentalfloss, is a very specific thing for a very kind of a narrow but deep crowd versus like a more shallow but broad crowd. So yeah, I hope that sort of gives you some insight. You start with the there you go, the pointy finger.
I was just wondering what type of channels that you subscribe to and take.
Very few, very few. I'm not one of those people that's constantly keeping up with everybody's videos. Like, you know, I really like Demon Tomato Dave because he does stuff similar to what I do, but in my opinion, sometimes better and in ways that I can't, which is really awesome. You know, I subscribe to good friends of mine on the internet, but that doesn't mean I'm like following all their stuff. But the best way to answer this is just for you to go to my page, because my subscriptions are public. But what do I watch on YouTube? Honestly, outside of friends of mine laughing, outside of like, you know what, when parties descend into YouTube theater, everyone's like, oh, but have you seen this one? And like, you know, so it ends up being like, okay, we're watching a video of kids coming out of an inflatable funhouse thing, but none of them seem to realize it looks like an enormous penis. And the background music is a farting version of Bohemian Rhapsody. That's my jam. And the thing about YouTube that I hate is that it suggests things trying to be helpful, but it's so embarrassing. Like, you can watch a video about like how to improve your skills on After Effects, how to use the Logic program on Apple, how to fix your Mac, but you watch one breast enlargement surgery. Nothing but that suggested for miles. Your girlfriend's parents come over and you're like, oh, I was just, kill me now. Okay, I think I have time for, does anybody happen to know, is anyone in here in charge and can tell me whether there's something right after this in here? No, we don't know. Okay, I'm just gonna do one more question until they're like, get out, you! Because there was an open door at the beginning, right? So like, anyway, we'll just cross our fingers and hope that we have time. You, sir.
If you could score any like movie series or game series, what would you do?
If I could score any movie series or game series, I would love to score the next like new Super Mario Brothers. Not because I think the game, actually let me take that back. The next like Mario Galaxy type game, like when they decide that they're gonna do like the new Mario that's not just the old side-scrolling Mario made into HD. Like, you know, in the tradition of 64, Sunshine, Galaxy, and now I guess Mario 3D World, that kind of thing. Because I feel like those games, for me, have lost, well actually no, that's not true. They've always had great scores. Galaxy had a great score, and I kind of want to like, I would love to do something like that, honestly. That's yeah. Or a Zelda, I wouldn't say no. Let me do one more. Oh wow, I can't say no to the Master Sword. Hold it up again for everybody to see. Wow, you are the hero of time. Or maybe just the hero on time. All right. Thanks, courtesy laugh. Did I tell you, maybe this person is here, this woman or girl, I don't know how old she was, last night said to me, well, you can do anything in Canada if you put your courtesy to it. And I was like, are you being ironic, or is this really how it is? Anyway, hit me, hero time.
Oh, I'm just gonna put up the sword and say, hey, that'd be a cool idea.
Great comment, awful question. So, All right, wait, baseball cap I've already done you, sorry buddy. Backwards baseball hat with glasses. There you go.
Okay.
The 90s, hit me.
I've been to a few conventions with you around, and each one of your panels, you always did some sort of exclusive behind-the-scenes thing. Nothing this time?
What could it be? This collection of dildos. So I was forced to buy this because my bigger and in some ways better laptop stopped working because of, I guess, overused it and banged it around on tour. But I'm gonna now hook it up to an audio source. What should I show you?
Everything!
You wish. Really you don't, I promise. Okay, let's see. This is gonna be something that is not really ready yet, but it's ready enough to show you that it's a work in progress. So, I wanted to do the Link to the Past ending with lyrics, and I kept writing Link as this kind of arrogant dickbag, and I was like, how do I justify this? So I think the concept is gonna be like, did you ever get a sense that out of all the different Links in the Zelda continuum, that the Link to the Past Link was the douchiest? And then it just cuts to this. Let me start over. Give it a second. There's no cue, so I just have to jump in here. Things were bleak, stakes were high, you were all gonna die, but you're alive because I kick ass, so you're welcome, I guess. Either way, I'm the best, I'm the Link. Who's the Link to the past? There's a bunch of links, each of us distinct, but I'm the best. I am number one, look how fast I run, and I'm really fun. Guess I'm just blessed. Yes, I saved light and dark worlds, Zelda 2, and like 6 other girls. My quest was epic and long, as is my charm. I bring bad guys to their knees. No autographs, please. I'm a gift to you from the gods. Wit and grit, hell I'm it. Just admit you want my babies. But you're like, wow, holy smoke, we were all gonna croak. But Link showed up and poof, we were free. You were lost, stuck in bed. You were basically dead, but you're alive because of me. Let me skip to the end here. Alright, I'm gonna go into the stride part, which is the key change. Best part of the song. So you're welcome, no prob. Yes, I did a great job, but I just did what you would have done. That's a joke, tee. No, it had to be me. I'm the Link. Who's the Link to the past? And my wiener is vast, and you're all saved at last. We'll see. I don't know if the joke of him being such a dick really lasts, but I kind of hope it does. It's kind of in the tradition of like Mega Man 3 Game Over with lyrics, like a game somehow being a jerk, because that's something I'm good at. Anyway, so that's definitely a first draft, and there will be other drafts, but yeah. Did you ever follow up with the guy with the sword?
He's the only Link with pink hair. You can rhyme that.
That's true. I'll just credit the guy with the sword. Hey, how's it going? Is there something in here right after me?
Yeah, we have to set up for fashion show.
No problem. I was actually just kind of testing how long. Do you happen to know, sorry to put you on the spot, James mentioned possibly like a table and autograph area to go after this. Is that news to you?
Oh wait, for one that you've been assigned? Or
Right.
an empty one?
Either one. I've been doing like guerrilla signing areas for 3 years, and he was just kind of telling me maybe this year there could be an official, like a table that was made of things and not our imagination. Yeah, I understand. All right, so crowd at large, thank you for coming. If I don't see you, I'll see you next year. What's going to happen is I'm going to figure out where I'm going to go, and if you want to stick around and hang out, follow me there. But I am going to try to get out of this room without too much obstacleness. So anyway, see you soon.